understand say as PTA meeting. You could have gone in your living room.
I'm going to ask that we mute our mic now. Okay, because if we don't do that, we are going to have some kind of a confusion. So I just want to thank you for coming out and participating in the meeting. We have 40 persons up to now, and I just thank all the 40 persons
40 persons
are out to be involved.
So
we have some background. We have some background noises.
Just
So
going
I'm going to ask that we unmute, that we mute our mic.
2,000 people reach a long time in no space.
I'm not sure who are the persons talking, but I'm going to ask that you mute your mic, please. All right. If not, we're going to have all sorts of extraneous background noise. All right. So at this time, is there any apologies? I'm not sure if anyone heard of anybody who would not be able to attend and would like to give apologies for them. Apologies once, apologies twice, apologies 3 times. No apologies. Okay. At this time, I would like to take the opportunity to express condolences. I know that Mrs. Thomas prayed for those persons who have lost loved ones. So I would like to echo that sentiment from the PTA, the expression of condolence to those persons who have lost loved ones, friends, relatives during the period of our last meeting until this time. We are going through unprecedented, difficult times. So at a time when it is not only COVID, but persons around us, they are dying left, right, and center. And it is a reflection of the frailty of life. And therefore, for those of us who are present at this time, we give God thanks. At this time, I will call upon Ms. Long to give a summary of the meeting of the last meeting. Just to give a brief, not the full detail, because especially for the time that we have, we do not want to take a whole lot of afternoon time going through. But if she could give us some detail as it relates to a shortened version of what happened at the last meeting. Ms. Long, are you here?
Yes, Mr. Henry. Good evening. Can you hear me?
All yes, right, what I would suggest, yes, just indicate, unmute your mic and indicate that you're hearing her. 1, 2, 3, indicate.
Okay, great. Yes, I'm having rain in my background, so.
Okay, good.
All right. This is the reading of the last minutes. Charlemont High School PTA meeting held on January 29, 2020. The meeting was called to order at 3:07 p.m. by Mr. Hopeton Henry, the president. Prayer was done, and we had welcome and opening remarks. There were apologies and congratulations. Mrs. Dennis, our secretary, she had not been able to be at the meeting, so there was an apology for her. There was also an apology for the principal as well as myself, and our assistant public relations officer. She took the notes for us. There were condolences to a student in grade 8 who had lost a parent. There was a reading of the last minute, which was done by Mrs. Gail Jackson. There were no amendments, and there was confirmation by Ms. Tamika Bailey, and it was seconded by Mr. Warren McLeod. Matters arising from the minutes. Ratification of co-options and volunteers. The president circulated the volunteer co-option sheet. And he encouraged us to help the school to improve the discipline in the school, as we had a few problems last term, and we had been seeing improvements in this term at the time. And we were encouraged to continue on that projection to improve the discipline of Charlemont High School. The book room and bookshop, there had been 2 attempts to get 40-foot trailers. We were still searching and it was important because the trailers can be retrofitted so that students can get to purchase stationery items on the campus. Inquiries are currently being made. CXC. The PTA has assisted a number of students, 9 in total, in a tune of over $100,000 in paying their CXC fees. These were needy students. They were vetted before this was done. Insurance. Mr. Garrick, an insurance person, parents had taken his number that he had given at the meeting, and he had pledged that he would make himself available. And he stated that the insurance will cover up to age 21 through to college. Ms. Giddens spoke on the matter of suspension of students. We moved on to current business. The principal report. This was done by the Vice Principal, Ms. Giddens, on the principal's behalf. And she spoke to issues like the cricket team, who had played a good match against McGrath and Dinsdale, and they had won. The quiz team had won the first match and had made it to the next round. Staffing, there were various issues about staffing. And one especially included the fact that we had eventually secured a Spanish teacher from Cuba, and we had not been able to teach physics for that term, as they did not have the full complement of teachers. The issue of a need for a literacy teacher was spoken about. A report writing. Ms. Giddens acknowledged that there were problems with the system that affected the production of the reports. She also said that where the date of birth issue was concerned, where this was misrepresented on the report, this is a situation that needs to be standardized from how it is entered into the system. She continued to ask parents to encourage students to be on time and to not let them be an issue why the students cannot be early. Examinations. She spoke a bit on this, and she thanked the PTA and the Past Students Association for their contribution to the payment of the fees for 9 students. Also, she encouraged persons to pay up their contributions for the school, as the school really needs it. They spoke also about the PAT student, the PAT situation, about the swipe cards that was addressed, the financial report. Mr. Bennett gave the financial report, and he wanted to remind us that we are still in the transition stage in terms of financial accounting from the old guard to the new guard. The statement of accounts as at November 30, 2019 was $1,731,131.19, and we were debited $535 for banking fees and credit of $2,280.62, and that left us with a balance of $1,732,876.81. And we were promised a more comprehensive report. We had a guest speaker in the form of Mr. Owen Speed, the JTA president, and he encouraged parents to spend time with their students, and he encouraged students to do their best. He gave very encouraging words to the PTA. A presentation was done to Mr. Speed by Ms. Five of the PTA. Questions were asked and answers were given from Ms. Giddens. Parents got a chance to ask questions and Ms. Giddens gave answers as best as she could. And then we moved on to new business. A suggestion box was discussed. This was emanating from the executive meeting, as we felt a bottom-up method was needed for persons to express their needs on what they want to see happening in the school. The national anthem was sung and the meeting was adjourned at 5:22 p.m.
All right, I want to thank you, Ms. Long. That's fairly comprehensive, quite a lot of detail. I would first of all ask, are there any corrections? If there are no corrections, we ask someone to move for the confirmation of the minutes. May someone move? Anyone who was at the last meeting? Any other member of the executive want to move for the confirmation? Jackson? May someone please move for the confirmation of the minutes? Are you all hearing me? I need for someone to move for the confirmation on the seconding of the minutes. So somebody could unmute their mic and confirm yes. Ms. Jackson, seconded. Do we have a seconder? You can indicate by either raising your hands or verbally, unmuting your mic and verbally. So we have someone moving for the confirmation. We need a seconder now. Okay, I see a hand going up. That means we have a seconder. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, good, thanks. Guys, still. All right, I think I know. All right, matters arising. Do we have any outstanding issue that we want to discuss? The financial report. A number of issues came up, but let me touch on the financial report quickly. We have monthly statements from the bank. I think the last financial statement that we got from the bank was over a year ago. Those statements are at the school and they are to be collected. So as a result, at this time, we may not be able to tell the exact amount of money that is in the account, because I have not been to the school to collect these statements in a while. The last meeting we had was a face-to-face meeting. So what I could do is to collect the last set of statements from the bank and from the school and get it posted so that you will have an idea of the amount of money that is in the account. I can speak to the issue of the suggestion box, that although we ran the suggestion boxes for several weeks, the students did not respond in terms of giving their ideas as to how things could be and ideas for development as such. We announcements were made at devotion, announcements were made in classes, but we did not get the kind of response that we solicited. Is there any other issue coming out of the meeting that we want to discuss? If not, we could move on to the whole issue of parents really expressing themselves. But please indicate if there are any issues that you are not having any clarity on that you would like for us to expound on coming out of the minute. All right. If there is no response, no further response, especially due to the long period since we have had any meeting, let me just do some inquiry here to find out how many persons on the executive are present, just to indicate verbally. Myself, I'm present, Hopeland Henry. Is the Vice President present? Miss Hale? Miss Hale is present. I know she may not be on the island, but I know she can participate from wherever she is. Is she present? Okay. Mrs. Dennis is present, I know. Is Miss Hyde and Miss Jackson is present. Public Relations Officer. Hyde, is Miss Hyde present? Just unmute and indicate. I'm not getting any response. Is Mr. Bennett present, the treasurer? Oh, Miss Long is present. She read.
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, she read the minute a while ago. All right. So I'm not sure of the other persons who. I know Miss Jackson, Miss Dennis. I'm not sure about Miss Ty, and I'm not sure about Mr. Bennett, the treasurer. What I would ask the secretary to do is to go down the list for the persons who are present. You probably could use the phone, take a snapshot of the names for purpose of our record. All right. We are going to have to move on to new business. Let me first of all ask if Mr. Gale is on. I have not seen Mr. Gale.
No, sir, he's not on.
Okay.
I
All
just
right.
spoke to him. I just spoke to him, and he had some family issues he's dealing with. So he asked me to apologize to you and the team, the PTA.
Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do at this time is to ask Mr. Legister the vice principal, to make a short statement and then to discuss the fundraising issue before we take the issues coming from the parents. So I'm going to ask Mr. Legister at this time, maybe to give us a short update as to what is happening in and around the school with online learning, some of what is happening, and then to tell us about the fundraising activity coming up. The floor is yours, Mr. Legister.
Thank you very much, Mr. Henry. Good afternoon to you and your team again, parents. It's a pleasure for me to be here. We started out for the 2021-22 academic year. Things have been running pretty smoothly. We are having some issues as it relates to emails that are supposed to come from the ministry. So what we have been doing, we have been compiling a list of names that have not gotten their emails as yet, and we have sent them to the ministry. We have received some. As soon as we are in receipt, they will be sent out to the parents and students. As it relates to attendance for September, some grades are doing pretty well. Others definitely need to improve. So I'm going to impress upon the parents to, as best as you can, please get the kids to come out early, but not only early, but to come out every day for registration. If they are not at registration, they will not be marked present. And I am sure you know that that will affect something. That will affect their attendance and that will affect their report. It will be reflected on their reports, especially for those students who are on path. It is important that they attend attendance, registration, and classes. Right? We have been doing a number of things to try and improve the plant. We have started our farm. We plowed over an acre and we are now putting in seeds, various seeds, callaloo, tomato, you name it. This is to be sold to our new concessionaire. Mr. Henry might want to touch on that a little bit later. We have a new concessionaire and they are willing to assist us in getting our products sold. So parents, anything you can do, and if you have any seeds at all, or if you want to come by the school when you are free to assist us in cleaning the land and planting seeds, we'll be grateful. I know there are a few issues that we are trying to sort out. The CXC results came out, I think it was a day or two ago. Based on my information, we are at about 60 to 70% pass rate. Due to the pandemic, I am sure we would consider ourselves to have done well under the circumstances. We continue to do whatever is necessary to ensure that all our stakeholders are comfortable, especially our students. I know the guidance department, they are planning, they are in the planning stage of finding those students who we cannot reach. That continues to be a problem, and we are trying our endeavor best to ensure that we meet each and every student. Again, parents, I am encouraging you, if you have any issues at all, please don't be afraid. Contact me, contact the principal, contact Miss Gideon, who is our other VP. We are willing and we will try our best to assist. Think I want to mention, which you would have been informed already, we are hosting a fundraiser which will be held on the 28th of this month. Parent, I am begging your support. Now, this is to help our students, well, our new students. All right, I know a lot of students are facing issues re gadgets, re internet. And as a school, we get support from the PTA, the past students, and all that. But as a school, we want to be able to do more. And hence, we are putting on this fundraiser to try and assist our students further in getting devices and trying to assist with internet and things like that. So parents, on the 28th, I am going to ask you that the only thing you should prepare in your house is a cup of tea in the morning. After that, all roads lead to Charlemont, where you come and you get your food. So if you have 5 persons in the household, it means you are to purchase 5 food. If you have 2, you purchase 2. All right, we will have chicken, we will have pork, and we will have fish. Then we crave for your support. We want to help to assist our students in the best way we can. We have over 400, and Mrs. Johnson can correct me if I'm wrong, we have over 400 students on path. Plus, we have other students who are definitely in need. So anything that we can do as a school to assist, we will try our best to assist. Please, again, I'm appealing to you. We need the support. It will benefit you, it will benefit the students, it will benefit us as a school. All right? If we can get our students to be fully equipped for classes, then I am sure you will be happy, they will be happy, and we as a school will be happy, and we will definitely see an improvement in our CXC passes. We continue to be proud of our students. They have done well, as I said before. Despite the pandemic, they did well. And I just want to take this opportunity to congratulate each and everyone. I want to congratulate the students, they did well, and I also want to congratulate our teachers who worked extremely hard. They went above and beyond to ensure that our students did well, and they did. So again, parents, thank you for having me. If there are any questions that you may have, I'll try to answer them as best as I can. Not saying I have all the answers, but I'll give you best possible answer that I have. Right? If not, if I'm
Okay.
not able to answer, I will get the answer and I'll give Mr. Henry. Mr. Henry can pass it on. So
Yes, I
once
want to
again,
thank you, and I'm going to ask you to hold on and not to leave us. In the meantime, just from what the things that you have said, just to add that the name of the current concessionaire, the person, the company that will provide lunches for our students and the personnel who are on the school plan. The name of the company is Clint Hart, CLINTHART. I think that is a combination of some names. Some interviews were done, and the board really scrutinized those persons who were shortlisted with a fine-tooth comb and tried to select the best persons. So Juicy Beef is no longer the concessionaire. There was some level of dissatisfaction with the performance of that company. And so the school had to take, the board had to take a decision. Mr. Legister mentioned the fundraiser, and I really want for the support to go beyond the 62 persons who are in the meeting. The support that is going to be needed for needy students. And the needs are really, really, really serious. Because of the pandemic, sometimes the government is not able to deliver on some of the promised program, some of the promised things like laptops and tablets and so on. And I'm suggesting the PTA will have enough fund to purchase as much as about 25 tablets. I would suggest that the guidance department would have to set up the criteria when we hand over those tablets to the school. the guidance department will have to work out the criteria and the basis on which students will be awarded. There are some parents who have indicated to me personally, maybe about half a dozen or so parents, of the need for their child or their ward to have these gadgets over a number of months. And they have to be actually using their personal phone. In some instances, their phone is used for business, like, for example, somebody who may have a cook shop and so on, and they have to juggle between the child using the phone and they using the phone to operate their business. So I have known of some of those persons. Currently, the signatures have not changed. We have now a letter in our position for the change of signatures. So it would be myself, the secretary, and the treasurer would have to meet at the bank to have the signatures changed from the old account to the new account. And then we will be able to make purchases of those tablets that will be necessary for those students who are really in need, basically. But so let me ask now, are there any questions that you would want to ask Mr. Legister? What I would like for you to do at this time is to unmute your mic, and then you could indicate by raising your hand. So,
Mr. Henry?
hello.
Sorry. Yes. Because we were having some issues with persons unmuting while you were speaking, everyone is muted. So if someone wants to speak, they can raise their hand and we'll unmute them.
Okay, thank you very much, Adam. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. So those persons who want to ask questions now, we are going to be opening up the floor. So for you to raise your hands, you just touch on your name and you will see the indication of raising a hand, and you touch on that, and that will come up. So Miss Sharon, Mrs. Jackson, you can go ahead, Mrs. Jackson.
Good afternoon, everyone. Mr. Henry, I would like to ask a question. Read the tablets. Will
Yes.
it be given to the students to take, or it will be given to them on a loan basis? So after they're finished, they will return it, or I need to know how you're going to distribute it.
Okay. We have one of the guidance counselor on. I would like for her to give some indication, and then we take Miss Alicia Johnson.
Well, in terms of tablets that are given by the ministry would stipulate, and there are donors who stipulate how they want the tablets to be issued. If the PTA is donating to the school, you can make recommendations that we loan them or we give them to students.
Okay, so that could be determined then. All right,
Yes.
Miss Alicia Johnson. Yeah, we have, okay, it's the same Miss Johnson, right? All right, anybody else? Let me see the raise of hand. Yes, go ahead. All right, we need more persons to ask questions.
Good evening.
Okay, bye.
Good evening. Are you hearing me?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Yes, this is Glacia Thompson, mother of Alicia Johnson. I am concerned about the CXC fees because I have not heard anything about it, and normally I know it would have been October for the fees to be paid, and so I would like someone to address that for me, please, and thanks.
Okay, Mr. Legister. over to you.
Yes, miss. Good afternoon. We have not gotten the new rate from the ministry as yet, but what you can do, you can use last year's rate as a ballpoint. It could be a bit more, but at least you will have an idea. We have not gotten it yet, so until we get that, we cannot give it out. But if you have an idea of what it is, then you can start putting the money down. So when the time comes, you have that money. All right, so that would be my advice to you. Use last year's rate as a ballpoint and start putting the money down. So if you know you're going to pay for 5 subjects, start putting the money down.
Okay, you might have to resend again the rate. All right, let me take a Tris Ashley Cleghorn. And yes, Miss Cleghorn?
Good evening, everyone.
Yes.
Quick question here. My son is in grade 10.
If you have spoken before, just take down your hand if you have asked before, question before. Yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. My son is in grade 10. What I want to ask, suppose I want him to do 2 subjects in grade 10. How do I go about getting him signed up for it, even though he's just started the CXC syllabus? I would really love for him to get a feel of the exam. So how do I go about it?
Mr. Register.
Yes, miss. Good afternoon. It would be the same process. He will have to get the go-ahead from the subject teacher. Once the subject teacher is satisfied that he has the aptitude and the attitude to do the subject, it's the same process. So speak to the subject teacher, get the feedback from the subject teacher, and then the subject teacher will direct you to the exam coordinator, who is Mrs. Barnett.
Okay. Petula Barrett, your hand up.
Yes, good evening. I joined about 50 minutes ago. When I came on, they were talking about the fundraising. Did I miss anything before that?
Well, you would have missed a number of things from the reading of the minutes. But did you hear what I said about the PTA purchasing some tablets? And the new,
Yes, I heard that. Yes, I heard
okay, the new concessionaire Clean Heart. Did you hear anything that Mr. Legislator said?
I came on when he was about to finish his presentation. As it relates to persons that want their kids to see fit this year, right? My daughter wanted to do both math and English. She has help from outside to send her to a private class. What I want to know is if the school, the teacher decides that she don't think she's ready, but being that I am preparing my child to the exam and I think she's ready, will she still be allowed and what will happen then?
All right.
I know they could do it privately.
I wouldn't want her to do that since she's attending school. I wouldn't want her to do it elsewhere. I think that Charlemont High School want her to sit it there.
All right, so you have 2 options. You have it on the regular program, and then you have the extension. So if the teacher is not satisfied, then you can go ahead and do it on the extension. I think we will allow that. But let me confirm with Mrs. Barnett and Ms. Giddon, and I'll get the information to Mr. Henry. So we have 2 programs, the regular program and the extension. So he or she should be able to get in on one.
And this Charlemont, doing anything at all for grade 10 that want to sit, but these are the requires SB.
Repeat that for me.
Does Charlemont have anything in place for fourth farmers who want to do the exam, being that math and English, because we're an SBA? Does my child have to do paper 3, or there can be ways that the SBA is done?
I think it's really up to the child. If the child is willing to put out the work and get the SBA done, it's possible. But if not, then there is always paper 3.
Right,
but I'll get confirmation from Ms. Giddon and Mrs. Barnett, and I'll furnish Mr. Henry information, and Mr. Henry can pass it out.
Okay.
As it relates to giving away the tablets, I think that the kids should be able to get these tablets for themselves. Say for example, a child is in fifth or say sixth form, and they're not going back to the school. Maybe then those persons can look at listening to actually giving them back. But like a second form or third form, I think these kids should be allowed to keep these tablets because after 3 years or so, if possible, anything can happen. So there's a possibility that after 3 or 4 years, this subject probably stop working, something goes wrong. But that's just my opinion still.
Okay. We take your position into account when we have discussions with the guidance department.
Yes,
I'm
Mr.
hoping
Henry, as Mrs. Johnson would have said, it's really up to the PTA and the donor. So whoever is donating determine what they want. So if they want the students to keep it, then they tell us, we work with it.
so we'll take into account is it Miss or Mrs. Barrett? Let me say it properly. Is it Petula Barrett? Is it Miss or Mrs. Barrett? We'll take into account your view when we are having the discussion with the school. We thank you for those remarks, those comments. And at this time, I just want to welcome the additional persons who have come on. We have over 70 persons now. So please indicate any question to the school, to the PTA. Just raise your hands. If you have spoken, you can take down your hand and let me see additional any additional persons raising their hand. Let me see. I'm going through, scrolling through. Yes, I still see Miss Barrett hand up. I'm not sure if you still want to speak. If not, you could take down your hand, and those persons who want to speak, please indicate by raising your hand or just on. Okay, I see Delia, Carter, and Karen Rodney. So after Delia Carter, then we have Karen Rodney. Go ahead, Delia Carter. Unmute your mic and go ahead. Yes. Go ahead now.
Okay,
No,
good
we're not.
afternoon. Hi.
Okay.
You're hearing me?
Hearing you now.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I have a concern I have a son in 9A, and up until now, he has not received any code for FCM class for the boys. So I would like to know what is happening where that is concerned, because I'd love for him to have a code so that he could access that specific class.
Okay, Carter. What I'm let me tell you what I suggest here. I would suggest there are 3 persons, and I'm going to suggest that all 3 persons ask their question, and then Mr. Legislator answer them one by one. So I would ask Karen Rodney to unmute her mic and go ahead with her question, and then followed by Matthew Williams. So, Karen Rodney, just unmute your mic and ask the question. Yes, go ahead.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I was late for the meeting, was unable to join. Can I get a quick overview as to what was discussed, please?
Okay.
The meeting
all right,
will be
you ready?
on YouTube for later watching if persons want to go over.
Okay. Please repeat that.
I was saying that the link that was sent, it will be posted again. At the end of the meeting, the recording will be on YouTube and persons can rewatch using the link. We'll leave it up for a while.
Okay, so we will repost the link and the persons can go on YouTube and catch up.
Right.
All right. So we know if we now ask Matthew Williams to go ahead. And then Mr. Legister will answer.
Okay, good evening, everyone.
Okay.
I'm the parent for Matthew Williams.
Okay.
I haven't received any books, like book rental from the school. I was told that from the last meeting that books will be coming in. And I called sometime in September and they told me that no books were there as yet. So I'm to call back, but then I didn't get a call back, but I want to know if there are books there for children to get for rental. My child is in grade 8 and I need to know.
Okay, all right. So those persons can now take down their hands, and then Mr. Legislator, you have maybe two or so questions to answer.
Yes, Miss. Good afternoon. As it relates to books, we have not received any new ones from the ministry as yet. I want to use this platform to appeal to the parents and to the students who were in grade 8 last year. Please return the books. This is one of the reasons why books are short, because they are not being returned. So again, I am appealing to all the students. If you have the books at home, the parents, if you have the books at home, please return them so we can do some more distribution. We have not gotten any more from the ministry as yet. We gave out what we had. When we are in receipt, then we'll inform the parents, we'll inform the students, we'll organize a date for them to be collected. All right, miss? As it relates to class codes, I didn't hear the class. I know it was a grade 9 parent, but I didn't hear the specific subject. If you could type in the chat, I could address it for you. But I know codes are available for all the classes. So what you could do, if you give me a call tomorrow, just call the school, ask for Mr. Legister. I'll provide you with all the codes.
Okay, we have one Pinnock. I'm not sure if it's Mr. or Miss or Mrs. So I would just ask Pinnock, please unmute your mic and go ahead.
Good afternoon. When will teachers recommend students for subjects in order for them to know how much the number of subjects they are going to be doing?
The Legister.
Registration normally begin in October and ends in December, so it's during that period.
Okay.
But you would have been recommending yourself from grade 10. Remember, it's not grade 11, you know. It's over 2 years. So what you would have done in grade 10 would go a far way in saying to the teacher, you have the aptitude and the attitude. One of the issues we're having is that students, they don't take this thing serious until they reach grade 11. All right, so just a reminder, you recommend yourself, it's not really the teacher. So what you do in classes, how you approach, your behavior, your aptitude, your attitude, and everything will determine. All right?
Okay. Does that answer your question? I was expecting to hear some question relating to the vaccine, because I know at one point there was some serious debate on the WhatsApp chat about the vaccine or the vaccination. I would love to hear some comment on this from parents. All right, so in the meantime, just raise your hands. Let us use this valuable time that we have here. Let us utilize it as quickly as is possible and expeditiously. I need to see more raising.
Sir Henry, I just want to point out something.
Yes.
I am going to encourage the parents not to be too hasty in purchasing the books. All right? I'm advising you that you wait until the teacher say, I am going to use this particular book. then you purchase it. All right, because I'm seeing where Mrs. Johnson would have sent a message saying that a parent would have purchased a book, and it's the same book that we give out for rental. At this point, it's important that we save as much money as we can. So if we don't have to do that unnecessary spending, please avoid doing it.
Okay,
All right?
Miss Long, your hand up.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. My question is, what is Charlemont's position in terms of reopening and also in terms of the vaccine and students? What are the plans?
Good afternoon again, Ms. Long. It's not really our position, it's the ministry's, it's the government position. So whatever the government say that we must do, that is what we have to do. The government, their position is that for us to return face to face, we must have at least 65% of our students being vaccinated. I know you see the challenges that we're having with online classes. Parents, for us at Charlemont to return to face, we must meet that mandate set by the government. 65% of our students must be vaccinated.
Is
A
there
bulletin.
is there any indication how far we have reached as it relates to
We
retaining
are
that
in the
target?
process of collecting the data. So we should be able to provide some information shortly. Don't have that information with me right now, but we are in the process of collecting the data. We got a
Okay.
bulletin from the ministry. I think it was maybe about Friday or so. So we have to go back through the process of passing that inspection that is conducted by the Ministry of Health. So we have to call them in again for them to do their reassessment. So we have to ensure that all our protocols are in place. Once our protocols are in place and they give us a passing grade and our students are vaccinated, 65% at least, then we will return to face to face. So again, parents, I encourage you, I know some of you might have some reservations as it relates to vaccine. I can tell you personally, I am fully vaccinated. I have been fully vaccinated since June. I am quite okay. So I'm encouraging you. If it's just for us to be able to return face to face, so our students can have a better chance academically, please, we have to do it. All right. So I'm
I am
encouraging
fully
you.
vaccinated. I'm fully vaccinated too. We now take Petula Barrett. Yeah, your hands up, Petula Barrett.
Sir Henry, before Miss Barrett goes, I just want to add, the plan is once we get that go ahead is to have especially our exam groups coming in, and then
Okay.
we rotate 7 to 10. We want to have
Okay.
our exam group 11, 12, and 13. We want to have them coming in every day. So that's the
Okay.
plan for now. Once we get that go ahead,
Go
so
ahead.
the
Okay.
priority
Good.
is going to be given to the exam group, and then
Okay.
we'll have the 7 to 10 coming in on different days.
Okay. Yeah, Petula Barrett, your hands up.
Yeah, as it relates to the school reopening, right? Say we go ahead and get our kids vaccinated. I have taken my kids. What the school have in place? Because I've visited the school and I don't see any wash stations like in the schools. There's no hand washing station when you enter the school. I've not been all around the compound, but all I saw when I entered was just one sanitizing thing. So what does Charlemont have in place to ensure that when we get our kids vaccinated, they are safe on the compound? I don't see anything in place when I visit the compound.
Miss Barrett,
Secondly, go ahead.
Go ahead, Mr. Register.
tell Miss Barrett that the last inspection we did, we got 99 out of 100. And why we didn't get the 100 was because one of the bulbs in the bathroom was blown. So we do have all the things in place. We have wash stations at the front. We have sanitizer right along the corridor. We have social distance signs right around. The security is there. You cannot enter unless you have a mask. We have a one-way system in place where the students can only go one way, so we don't have them passing each other. We have set up the classroom where we don't have more than 15 students at any given time in one class. So yes, we do have all the protocols in place. And as I said, the ministry gave us 99. We did not approve it ourselves. The Ministry of Health came in and they gave us 99. And it wasn't because of any of the COVID protocols that was not met. So, Ms. Barrett, I
Okay, that's
encourage you
good
to
to know.
visit. I encourage you to visit. If you want to come tomorrow, I'll walk you on the compound and I'll show you all that we have in place. All right?
Okay, then. All right. As another thing, as it relates to the textbooks that were purchased, remember that these kids are in grade 10 now, right? So we know that these books will be using for 2 years. So even if persons were hesitant from first to third round about purchasing these books, we at grade 10 and 11 would have gone ahead and tried to get these books because were important. For me, it was because it wasn't available. It was when I came home and was checking the book again, I read it was the same book and a parent purchased it. So how is it that Charlemont made a blunder where a book that is parental is also on the book list? And as it relates to vaccination, now sometimes it's kind of out of our hand, being that the Pfizer is unavailable because myself and my kids have just gotten one dose. So it's kind of out of our hands as it relates to getting 65% vaccinated.
Any response from Ms. Barrett for Ms. Barrett?
Just to say that in terms of the blunder, I'm not sure if it was a blunder, but as parents, you have to decide if us as school we are out of the books and you see the need to go and purchase it before we get the others from the ministry, then feel free. It's knowledge and the book will not go to waste. I'm sure your child will benefit and can be passed on to other generations. So it won't be wasted.
Mr. Legislator, I know you have been overworked today. I thank you, Ms. Barrett, for those interventions. Any other? Let me see your hands just indicate. I see some people who normally would be talking very, very quiet today. Come on, don't let me have to start to call out names. Just put up your hands. Yes, Miss Long.
In terms of the cost for CXC subjects, I just looked at the website and I saw it is US $35. So as Mr. Legislator was saying that you could use last year's fee to get an idea of the amount now, that works out to be about $5,250 at 150 Jamaican dollars. So
Okay.
and I don't know how much that will help, but at least I have an idea what to expect.
Yeah, I really thank you for that information there. Really thank you. All right. Thanks again for doing that quick check. Any other persons? Let me see your indication. And in the meantime, I just want to indicate that going forward for the immediate future, we will have to use the same format until we are allowed face-to-face, because at the moment there can be no more than 50 persons gathering, and you have to get permission from the health ministry, and I think you may have to inform the police also. So it is not, it's not going to be so easy to have face-to-face. So at the moment, we are going to have to use the same format. And what I would suggest, just like how we would have done it face-to-face, is that we do it on a quarterly basis. Sharon Jackson, your hand.
Good afternoon. Again, I would
Yes.
like to ask Mr. Legister, when will be the registration for upper sixth form students, since the results are out now, or we will be informed?
Uh, Good afternoon again, miss. I don't know if you would have seen the calendar of events. We have posted the calendar of events, and it basically gives all the information for this term. So I'll send it to Mr. Henry, and Mr. Henry can circulate it for me. But registration should begin this week. Applications are at the office, so students are encouraged. They have been applying for sixth form. Interviews will be done, I think, on Wednesday for both lower and upper six. So please call the office tomorrow. I can give you some more precise information. But I know the interviews will be next week. Will be this week, sorry. We'll be doing some shortlisting and selection. But classes will begin for lower six and upper six next week, Monday, the 25th, I think. So interviews will be done, and then we begin classes next week, Monday, from lower and upper six. So if your child has not yet applied, please let them go to the school tomorrow, purchase the application form so they can be interviewed. I think it's going to be Wednesday and maybe Thursday.
Okay.
Pass
So we
out the
have
information for me, please.
right. We have two persons, and we will speak in this order: Alicia Johnson and Savanti Smith. We take Johnson first. Unmute your mic and go ahead.
Yes, question, sir, Mr. Mr. Legister. Is it that sixth form is mandatory?
That is the direction that the ministry is going, but for now, for this year, it's not. So we are used to having 5 years of school. It's going to be 2 years. It has not been gadgeted yet in the parliament, but that's the direction. But for this year, it's not necessarily mandatory, but I think next year it's going to be. The students will no longer graduate at this form, but they will graduate. That's the direction the ministry and the government is moving in.
Okay, that means that the school have a choice whether to accept or reject a child then if, for sixth form.
Yes. Yes, and
Oh.
and the biggest what schools normally use though is terms of space, availability of space. So based on the space that we have, schools tend to select the best. But it really boils down to availability of space. If we had the space, then we would select everybody. But unfortunately, we don't have the space. So what schools normally do and what Charlemont normally do is to select from that list the best students, those who would have performed well academically and would have gotten their subjects.
Okay. Another question, sir.
Okay, go ahead.
For grade 10 and 11 students, with this pandemic, some persons aren't able to pay the school contribution and things like that. Will it affect them in any way going forward?
No, miss. The ministry mandates that no child should be denied education based on not being able to pay the fees, and that that is what we are doing.
Okay, there's some flexibility. What can be done is that you can go to the school, make arrangement with the bursar, and you can pay in part. You will be issued a receipt. As far as I know, there is some flexibility as it relates to that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Johnson. And the other person who had indicated that they want to talk, you could unmute your mic and go ahead now. Somebody had indicated, I don't remember the name now. You can still go ahead. Okay. Anybody else want to say a last word, ask a question? I see the numbers going up to 74, which it is a fairly good representation, although it is not anywhere near the kind of representation that we would have wanted. But I really want to commend those persons who have joined the meeting and those who have participated. The link will be posted as to what you have missed on YouTube. Nicole Facey, go ahead, unmute and go ahead. Yes. Nicole Facey, you put your hands up. Your hand up.
Good afternoon, everyone. Are you hearing me?
I'm hearing you.
Okay. I just want to ask a quick question. In light of the fact that last year, this whole online platform thing was kind of new, and some of the children missed out quite a few classes. And I just want to find out if there's any, because like my child is in grade 10, and for grade 9, there's a lot of classes that she had missed out because of the internet connectivity. Is there anything in place for the teachers that the teachers has for the children, in terms of, now she's in grade 10 and she was not taught a lot of topics in grade 9. Now, is it that the teachers are expected them to just start the grade 10 by knowing the stuff that was taught in grade 9 are supposed to be taught in grade 9? Because I think she's having some issues with some of the teachers. It's like when they bring up a topic, they expect the children to already know that because they did that in grade 9. So that is a issue that she's having. Is there anything in place for children like that who went through the entire grade 9 without learning certain topics and now is in grade 10, or any grade for that matter, now is in this current grade and it was lost because they actually did not have almost 1 year worth of teaching?
I'm going to ask Mr. Legislator to hold that answer while we take Juanita. Juanita, go ahead with your question, and then while Mr. Legislator is thinking about his answer, he'll take both. Yes, so Juanita,
Okay.
unmute your mic and ask your question.
Are you hearing me?
I'm hearing you.
Okay, so in the beginning of this meeting, I heard that
A little
something
bit
about
louder, a little bit louder
insurance.
though. A little bit louder. I know you are soft spoken, but let us hear a little bit louder.
Okay, so the question is about the insurance that I heard in the beginning of the meeting. Didn't quite catch on that part.
Okay, the presenter at the time, Mr. Garrix, he issued some forms and he actually gave his number. What I could do is repost his number on the chat so that he can be contacted as it relates to getting your student, your child insured, because the insurance would cover up to age 21. So I could repost his number. What I will do is let me try to find his number now and give it to those who are on. That's Mr. Herbert Gary. All right. So if you have a pen or pencil, please write down his number. You have the 876 360 4638. He's a statutory agent, Mr. Herbert Garrick. Let me repeat. 876 360 4638. Are you all hearing? Okay, good. That was the number for Mr. Gary. All right, I need now to get back to my list of those persons who. All right. So that's the number. Anybody else? Because we're kind of winding up now. We have gone over 1 hour. Anybody else who want to ask any question?
Mr. Legislator,
Okay.
answer the question, sir.
Okay, yes, Mr. Legislator, you have one question to answer.
All right. Let me see how best I can answer this and not get myself in trouble. All right. So I know the issues. We have a lot of students who would have missed out an entire year of work. I know our teachers are willing to assist where they can. I am sure the parents can appreciate that the teachers too are bombarded and has a lot to do. So they may not be able to assist as you would want them to. So please, I am going to ask that you reach out to individual teachers, ask them if and when they can assist. I'm also going to direct you to the Google Classrooms. All the information that would have been taught are in the Google Classrooms. It is now up to students to visit those classrooms and do some reading and some studying on their own. It's a lot, I know, and we will continue to do the best that we can. And I'm not going to put my neck on the block and say teachers will reteach because it's very difficult. It's difficult for students as much as it is difficult for teachers. So dialogue with the teachers, see where they are able to assist, and where they can't, then the students and the parents will just have to fill that gap by researching the topics, doing some reading, and doing some studying on their own. I hope that answers the question.
Mr.
Okay,
Legislator,
just to
you'll
say,
allow me, Mr. Henry?
yeah, I'm going
Go
to
ahead,
take,
miss, please.
I'm going to take the following person in the following order.
Sir Henry, just let Mrs. Johnson add to that as well.
Okay, go ahead, Miss Johnson. And after Miss Johnson, I'll just make a brief remark, and then we take Ishmari or Ishmari Tracy. Then we're going to take Mrs. Dennis, and then we're going to take Nicole Facey in that order. Mrs. Johnson.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to add to let parents know that we want you to be proactive this year. We understood the challenges they had last year. Last year, we actually were issuing content sheets for those children who were having connectivity issues. We ask also that parents reach out to their child's teachers so teachers can be aware of what is happening and how they can help as quickly as possible rather than to wait months later or the child is in a new grade before we try to play catch up. This year, again, we are continuing to try to make content sheets available to have students who have connectivity issues, data issues, to keep up as much as they can to collect the content sheet. So you notify the office that your child is having issues with internet and they would like the content sheets. They are prepared and put together based on what your child's timetable says. And then they'll have you come in to collect them. Last year we're printing them wholesale, boxes and boxes of content sheets, costing the school a lot of money, which it really didn't have and couldn't afford. We were pitching our hats farther than we could reach them. And students didn't collect them, or they would take some and not bring them back. We had a number of issues. So what we're doing this year, we're asking if you're having a difficulty, don't stay home and just say, oh, the internet out or the light is out, I'll wait until next week. Contact the school, say, my child is in such and such class, I would like to do content sheet pickup, and the office staff will tell you, okay, we'll get them prepared for tomorrow or later today. They'll print them and have them available to you. Don't wait. As soon as you realize that flow messing up or you don't have the money to buy data this week, jump on the content sheets, all right? And if you have contact with the teacher, communicate with the teacher to say, so-and-so will not be on. Could you, you're gonna expect the homework late, or can you help us to catch up next week when we are able to get back on? Be proactive,
Okay,
that's my
thank you.
message.
Thank you very much. Just to add that in the next meeting, Mrs. Nesbeth, I've had discussion with her, and she is willing to help the parents to be able to navigate through the various platforms that we are using to be able to assist the children. So we have Tracy, Dennis, and Smith in that order. So just unmute and go ahead. Tracy first.
Unmute. Good evening, Mr. Henry. Good evening, everyone.
Yes.
I just want to ask this question, Mr. Henry. When will the CXC fee should be paid?
Mr. Legister.
I know registration is between October and December. Mr. Henry, I'll get the information from Mrs. Barnett tomorrow.
Okay.
And I'll furnish you with the information.
Okay. Good.
I want to think also that the date has not been finalized as yet, because if it was, then I would have the information. But let me check on it and get back to you. All right, please.
Okay, good. Dennis?
Good afternoon, everyone. Mr. Legister said something that I'm not in agreement with. He was speaking on the students going to the teachers and the parents helping out the child. My suggestion to you, sir, is that if a student did not have a device for last year, shouldn't it be that if by this year, like August, July, August, and the child have not received a device up to that point, shouldn't it be that the student be considered to repeat so that they can catch up? Not for them to go to the teachers and to stress the teachers further, and to also have the parents help, yes, but how many of those parents can assist the child? Those are the questions.
That's a big question. That's a big
How
question.
many of those parents can assist the child? I think that the school ought to repeat. I know you can't repeat everybody, but repeat the child. If it's even for the first term, and let them catch up, and then they'll just go back into the other class. But you cannot say that. I don't think that is right. And the other thing, I'm not sure on the device, if the school was issuing device, but shouldn't it be that those students were given priority to say, let us loan your device so that you can catch up, or you can do something in the summer? You understand what I'm saying? But don't say that the parents should help the child and you don't know the state of the parents' mind, and that they should ask the teachers. Some teachers are vicious, and I can tell you because I work at 2 schools, and they can be very vicious. So you should not do that, sir. Please take into
All right.
consideration what I've said, okay? Bye.
All right.
Miss
I
Dennis,
am
you
going to
answered the
suggest
question,
that
you know. You know you answered the question. Miss
we
Dennis,
really
you
work
answered the
with,
question.
yeah, we're going to have to work with Mr. Legister and Mrs. Johnson to work out some formula, and especially as it relates to the distribution of gadgets. We're going to have to take it seriously into account. You want to comment, Mr. Legister? And then we
Yes, sir.
take
I just want to let
Smith and
Mrs.
Carter.
Dennis know that she answered the question perfectly well, because
Okay.
we can't repeat all the students. As much as we would like to repeat them, we can't. We just don't have the space. I have received numerous calls for repeat, but we don't have the space. We just don't have the space.
Okay. We
So
can
we
have some
want,
further dialogue on that, though. We can have some further dialogue on that, so we can issue some definitive statements to the parents on that.
no problem.
Okay, so Smith, Carter, and Casey in that order. Just unmute and go ahead. Thank you, Mrs. Dennis. Smith, Carter, Casey in that order. Just unmute.
All
and
right,
go
so
ahead.
good evening. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Just
Good evening.
further to what Mr. Legislator was saying about parents assisting students and students seeking further assistance for themselves by going back to Google Classroom to read over notes and to familiarize themselves. What I want to find out, I know it may be a lot for the teachers, because I know in my son's class, it's like maybe it's over 30 persons I would have seen. I'm not sure if all of them would have attended the classes. But when an activity is given and they would have submitted it for the teachers to provide feedback so that the students know where they went wrong, so that they can go back and revise and they can make up for that error that they would have made. Because I would have been assisting my son, and I would have said to him, well, seeing as we are at a stumbling block here, when you submit it, the feedback you would have understood from the feedback, but no feedback has been given. So if teachers can provide feedback to the students so that they can know where they went wrong and they can do further research, they can ask questions to make up for that. Because I know they are not able to assist everybody in that area, but once they know where they are going wrong, they can seek further advice.
Thank you very much, Miss. I don't know if it's Miss or Miss. How you pronounce your first name? Okay, you're not hearing me. I don't want
It's Savante.
Savante. Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
I don't want to get into trouble.
Point taken. Point taken.
I call a lady I saw when I was 13 years old, and in a meeting, I saw the name Betrice. I didn't know it was Beatrice, and I said Beatrice, and the lady cussed me out properly. So I want to make sure I pronounce all the names well. Delia Carter.
Okay,
Go
good
ahead.
afternoon again.
Yeah.
You're not hearing me?
Yeah, man, I'm hearing you well.
All right, good afternoon again. Okay, trying to make a suggestion to parents. I hear persons have concerns as it relates to their children not having gadgets for classes, but I would like for the parents to be realistic, because since 2020 March, the students have been doing online classes. They're not going to school, hence they don't need the school shoes, the school bag, and the daily lunch money and all of those things. Now, parents need to be responsible for their children's learning, because if they slack and lay back and expect for school and the government to provide for their children to learn, it will not work out. Going to on a daily basis and purchasing certain equipment, the uniform money. By now, each child going to school should have a gadget. I know some of us might have more than one children in school or more than two or more than three, but I think some more efforts need to be put out there where you make the efforts. There are some very affordable ones that you can purchase, and a lot of stores are giving deals then for persons to purchase their gadgets. So I think parents need to play more emphasis on getting gadgets for the students. By now, it is high time for persons to get over that hurdle and move on. It should not be that students are unable to join a class of gadgets. I think it's very long enough time now for parents to try and purchase these things for the children. Thank you very
Planning,
much.
yes. This will take into account planning and preparation. Thanks for your input, Carter. Stacy, Nicole, please.
Sir Henry, if I may,
Yes, yes.
I just want to reinforce the point that the fundraiser is going to be very important as we continue to assist the students. I know some parents might have it harder than some. So please, again, the fundraiser is important. Support us so we can support the students. All right?
Okay. You need to repost the poster of that fundraiser again. Write down until just post it. We will repost it. Right up to the time. Casey, Nicole.
Yes, good evening again. I just want to, first of all, commend some of the teachers because I think that compared to last year, they are doing a very good job. But I have this question, question. When, for instance, you have 2 or 3 teachers for a particular subject, right? And they give isn't it that they should come together and set a test or a homework or whatever to be graded, ensure that their class has actually taught it before giving that test? Because I have had the experience with my child where she gets a test and it was never taught in her class, but some of our colleagues teachers have taught it. But yet still, when because it's technological era now we are in, so when she goes online to research it, because even although it's not been taught and she went to her textbook and she don't see it, she sees it on the internet. And when you go on the internet, it's the exact phrase, exact sentence that they're asking you the true or false for. I don't know, I don't think that's right, because even although she will be able to answer it because the question is right there on the internet, but then how does a teacher move on? Because if my child gets all of it right because she go on the internet and see, she still don't understand what it really is saying. It's just because it's on the internet. So isn't the teacher supposed to liaise, be in dialogue with the one another and ensure that this is being taught before they set the work for all of the students?
Okay, Miss Stacy, I am in agreement with you, and I'm looking at my own perspective as a teacher myself. I am in agreement with you. If 3 or more teachers are teaching the same subject, the same course, there should be some level of uniformity. The questions that each class may ask may not necessarily be the same, but in terms of the content, you should have some level of uniformity. And I would be in agreement with you on that, Nicole. But let me hear from Mr. Legister. So
Mr. Henry, you're perfectly correct.
There should be planning. The planning should take care of it. The planning at the department level should take care of that.
Right. So no student should be tested on anything that was not taught. So you're perfectly correct. We will address the situation. We'll speak to the teachers again. But that is the norm. That is what is expected. As a department, you are supposed to meet, you are supposed to plan, and these things are supposed to be worked out. So you're perfectly correct, and it will be addressed.
So we are expecting some follow-up on that. All right, I would like the secretary to note some of the things that we are to follow up on. So I will liaise directly with the school administration as it relates to the following up on some of these issues. All right, we are close to winding down, but let me find out if there is any other hands going up. So we look at some things. The 28th is the fundraiser. Mr. Legislator, give an indication of the cost, the menu again, and make your last appeal before we close down.
Yes, parents, so it's Charlemont High School Nyamins will be held on the 28th of October on the school grounds. We'll have on the menu, we'll have fish done to order. We'll have chicken, we'll have pork, done in different styles. It's $1,000 for chicken, $1,000 for pork, $1,500 for fish. Again, on that day, the only thing that you should put on the fire is a cup of tea. When you get up in the morning, make a cup of tea. After that, no cooking. You come and support the venture. It's in aid of students' welfare. We will use the funds to assist our students who are in need. If you have 5 persons in the household, we are expecting at least 5 food. If we have 10, we are expecting no less than 10. So again, please come out, support. We're going to have the COVID protocol, so you come on that day, you pick up and you go. Food will be ready. We are aiming for the food to be ready at 9 o'clock, and we go up until 3:30. But if there's a demand, we will definitely go beyond that. So again, please pass it on.
Okay.
Come and support. We
All
are
right.
begging
We
you.
will ensure that the word is passed on. I'm connected to some community groups. So once it is posted, I'll resend it to those groups. So I would like to really
Also, Mr. Henry, before you go, Mr. Henry,
yeah.
if there is any kind parent who, let's say you have chicken, you have fish, you have vegetables, you have coconut, you have whatever it is, and you want to come in and say, here,
Yeah.
we will accept it. You have rice, whatever it is, we will accept
Okay.
it. All right?
Great. Let me just begin by thanking, I need to thank Mrs. Johnson. I need to thank Mrs. Dennis, Ms. Long, and really thank as Mr. Legister. He's really one of the junior person in the senior staff. And I really want to thank you, Mr. Legister, for your human service this afternoon. I really want to thank you in terms of the furnishing of information being on point. And I really want to thank all those parents who have participated. This is a holiday, and you still come out in your numbers participating virtually. Those parents who asked questions, who were part of the discussion, I really want to thank you. We are looking at having another meeting in 3 months' time, where we will give further update in terms of information, pertinent information. And again, we are hoping that at that meeting we'll have the principal. What we probably could do is maybe ask the principal to make some recording and have it posted as it relates to some issues that we might want to raise with the parents. So I want to take this opportunity to say thanks again. I'm not sure if there is any last word. If there is any last word, I would allow for anyone to raise their hand quickly. If not, at this time, I would ask someone or more than one person to unmute their mic and move for the termination of this meeting. So somebody could unmute their mic and move for the termination of this meeting. I can see you don't want the meeting to end. I'm suggesting that we end it.
I move that the meeting be adjourned.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Long. Seconded. You have a second? Anybody? All right. May I have to ask Mr. Legislator to move second?
I so move, sir.
Okay. Okay, good. And the rest of persons in favor, Smith, and the rest of persons. We thank you very much.
All right, guys, be safe. Thanks again, and please
Again.
feel free to contact me if you're having any issues. Just call the school and ask for me. All right, I'll be at your service.
Thanks again, everyone.